Both me and First G, my beautiful husband right there.
My thing is that was then, this is now. Let's go forward now with our lives. And I want to say to not only their community, but to every community.
At 85, Shirley Caesar, the iconic gospel singer and former member of the renowned Caravans, is breaking her silence on the rumors that have followed her for years. From her childhood struggles to her rise to fame and the secrets she's kept along the way, we're uncovering the truth behind the headlines. Watch this video to see the shocking revelations that Shirley has finally decided to share with the world. But before we explore Shirley's revelation, we need to peek into her early years and how she got her start in the gospel music world. Early life and career beginnings. Born on October 13, 1938, Shirley was the 10th of 12 children in her family. Her father, James, worked in the tobacco industry, but was also known throughout the Carolinas for his role as the lead singer in a gospel quartet called The Just Came Four. This early exposure to gospel music would prove influential in shaping Shirley's future. At the tender age of 10, Shirley began singing with her father's group. This experience laid the foundation for her musical journey and gave her a taste of performing gospel music. Tragically, when Shirley was just 12 years old, her father passed away. This loss could have derailed her budding musical career, but instead, it seemed to fuel her passion and determination. Following her father's death, Shirley embarked on a new chapter in her musical journey. She started touring with an evangelist named Lerone Johnson. This opportunity not only allowed her to continue developing her musical talents, but also exposed her to a wider audience. Johnson had a television show in Portsmouth, Virginia, which likely gave young Shirley valuable experience performing for both live and broadcast audiences. In 1951, at the age of 13, Shirley reached a significant milestone in her career. She recorded her first song, titled I'd Rather Have Jesus. This early recording showcased her talent and set the stage for her future success in the gospel music industry. It's remarkable to think that at such a young age, Shirley was already making her mark in the music world. Even while still attending high school, Shirley's dedication to her craft was evident. She spent her time touring throughout the Carolinas, honing her skills and building a fan base. This period of her life demonstrates the incredible work ethic and passion that would define her career for decades to come. However, Shirley's journey wasn't without its challenges. Growing up in North Carolina during the era of Jim Crow laws, she faced discrimination and obstacles that could have discouraged a less determined individual. Shirley recalls incidents where restaurants would suddenly put up closed signs when she arrived, a clear indication of the racial prejudice prevalent at the time. The inequality extended to her school experiences as well. Shirley remembers a particular incident where a lady distributed cookies to all the children in the state. While the white children received fresh cookies, Shirley and her black classmates were given stale ones. Much of Shirley's resilience can be attributed to the influence of her mother, Hannah. Despite the challenges they faced, Hannah instilled in Shirley the importance of self-respect and perseverance. These lessons would prove invaluable throughout Shirley's life and career, helping her navigate the often difficult path to success in the music industry. After graduating from high school, Shirley's determination led her to pursue higher education. She enrolled at North Carolina Central College, where she studied business education. It was during her time in college that Shirley experienced what she believed to be a divine calling. In the middle of a typing test, she heard someone call out her name. Confused, she turned to the young woman next to her and asked if she had spoken. Later, when Shirley went home and lay on her bed, she heard the same voice again. This time, the message was clear. Behold, I have called you from your mother's womb, and I have anointed your lips to preach the gospel. For Shirley, this experience was a profound moment of spiritual awakening. She interpreted it as a sign that she was destined for a special role in spreading the gospel through her music. This belief would become a driving force in her career, influencing her decisions and shaping her approach to gospel music. In 1958, at the age of 19, Shirley made a decision that would change the course of her life and career. She approached Albertina Walker about joining the Caravans, one of the most popular gospel groups of the time. Albertina, impressed by Shirley's vocal talents, was eager to have her join the group. This opportunity was so significant that Shirley decided to put her education on hold to pursue her musical career full-time. Joining the Caravans marked the beginning of Shirley's professional music career in earnest. The group provided her with a platform to showcase her talents to a wider audience and learn from experienced performers. However, life on the road with a popular gospel group also presented new challenges for the young singer. Shirley's first night as a member of the Caravans was a baptism by fire of sorts. She found herself alone in Washington, D.C., staying at the Casbah Hotel on U Street, an area known for its significance in African American culture and history. It was her first time staying in a hotel, and the experience left her feeling vulnerable and alone. This night also presented Shirley with her first test of character in her new role. A male gospel singer, staying at the same hotel for an upcoming performance, made an inappropriate advance toward her. Shirley handled the situation with maturity beyond her years, firmly rejecting his advances and protecting herself from potential harm. As Shirley settled into her role with the Caravans, her talent began to shine. She performed alongside notable gospel singers such as Albertina Walker, Cassietta George, Dolores Washington, Josephine Howard, Eddie Williams, and James Herndon. This experience allowed her to learn from some of the best in the business and further develop her own unique style. During her time with the Caravans, Shirley recorded several songs that would become hits. Her biggest success with the group was "Sweeping Through the City," followed closely by "No Coward Soldier." These songs not only showcased Shirley's powerful voice, but also her ability to connect with audiences through her heartfelt performances. However, as is often the case in the music industry, tensions began to develop among the members of the Caravans in the early 1960s. By 1961, Shirley felt called to pursue a different path. She made the difficult decision to leave the group and devote herself full-time to evangelical work. This decision was not made lightly. Shirley felt a strong calling to ministry that went beyond her role as a singer. As she put it, "There was no need for me to keep disappointing people. The Lord called me out. My ministry's much more dynamic than my singing." Shirley's departure from the Caravans marked the end of one chapter in her life, but the beginning of another. Breakthrough and solo career. After her time with the Caravans, Shirley's career took an exciting new turn. She'd spent 8 years honing her craft with the group, but now it was time for her to spread her wings and fly solo. This decision came when Hob Records offered her a solo recording contract, an opportunity too good to pass up. Shirley's debut album with Hob Records was titled "I'll Go." It wasn't just Shirley on her own, though. She was backed up by the institutional radio choir, adding depth and power to her already impressive vocals. This album introduced the world to what Shirley could do on her own, featuring soon-to-be classics like "Oh Peter, Don't Be Afraid" and "Choose Ye This Day." These songs showcased Shirley's unique voice and her ability to connect with listeners through her music. But Shirley was just getting started. She followed up her debut with a string of hits that really put her on the map as a solo artist. Songs like "Satan, We're Gonna Tear Your Kingdom Down" and "God's Not Dead, He's Yet Alive" became fan favorites. Another standout hit was "Don't Drive Your Mama Away," which resonated with many listeners and further cemented Shirley's place in the gospel music world. The year 1971 marked a major milestone in Shirley's career. She won her first Grammy Award for her recording of "Put Your Hand in the Hand of the Man." This recognition from the music industry was a clear sign that Shirley's talent and hard work were paying off. It was also a validation of her decision to pursue a solo career. Just a few years later, in 1975, Shirley scored her first gold record with the song No Charge. This track became an instant hit, touching the hearts of listeners and proving that Shirley had what it took to create music that not only sounded good, but also carried a powerful message. Despite these successes, Shirley felt she could reach even more people with her music. She began to feel that Hob Records might be limiting her potential audience. When her contract with the label came up for renewal that same year, Shirley made the bold decision not to renew it. She was ready for a change, one that would hopefully help her music reach a wider audience. In 1977, Shirley took a risk that would prove controversial in the gospel community. She signed with Roadshow Records, a secular label. Her debut album with Roadshow was called First Lady. The title wasn't Shirley's idea. The producer chose it because Shirley was the first woman to record on the label. Little did they know, this title would stick with Shirley for the rest of her career. The First Lady album was a bit of a departure for Shirley. While the lyrics were still strongly rooted in gospel, the music itself was seen by many in the gospel community as too worldly. This led to some pushback, with many gospel DJs refusing to play tracks from the album on their radio stations. Despite this, one song from the album, Faded Rose, would go on to become a Shirley classic. Overall, though, the album didn't sell well. But something interesting happened. The First Lady title caught on in the gospel industry. Soon, Shirley was being introduced at concerts, on radio shows, and by gospel promoters as the First Lady of gospel music. Shirley gave Roadshow Records one more try with her second album, From the Heart, released in 1978. Unfortunately, this album faced the same issues as her first one with the label. The gospel community still felt the music was too secular, and the album was poorly received. After these experiences, Shirley knew she needed to find her way back to her gospel roots. She began searching for a gospel label that could help her reach her audience while staying true to her musical style. In 1980, she found what she was looking for with Word Records. Shirley's time with Word Records proved to be incredibly fruitful. Over the next several years, she won several more Grammy Awards, proving that she had indeed found her groove. Some of the biggest hits of her career came during this time, songs that would define her sound and cement her status as a gospel music icon. One of these hits was God's Got It All in Control, a song that resonated with listeners and showcased Shirley's unwavering faith. Another standout was Hold My Mule, which years later would gain new life as a Thanksgiving-related internet meme under the title You Name It. This unexpected viral moment introduced Shirley to a whole new generation of fans. Other major hits from this period included He's Working It Out for You, Jesus, I Love Calling Your Name, and You're Next in Line for a Miracle. These songs not only showcased Shirley's powerful voice, but also her ability to deliver messages of faith and hope that touched people's hearts. Throughout her solo career, Shirley made a name for herself on the gospel music circuit. She became a familiar face on popular television shows, including regular guest appearances on the Bobby Jones Gospel Show. These appearances helped to further increase her visibility and grow her fan base. Despite her solo success, Shirley never forgot her roots. She always credited Albertina Walker, her former bandmate from the Caravans, as her mentor. Shirley referred to Albertina as the Queen of Gospel Music, showing her respect and gratitude for the woman who had given her her big break all those years ago. Controversies. Despite her long-standing reputation as a beloved gospel artist, Shirley found herself at the center of discussions about inclusivity and acceptance within the church community. The controversy began when fellow gospel singer Kim Burrell made headlines for a sermon that many considered anti-gay. In her message, Burrell reportedly used strong language to condemn LGBTQ individuals, describing them and same-sex relationships in graphic, derogatory terms. This sermon sparked widespread outrage and condemnation from many, including some of Burrell's friends and collaborators in the music industry. In response to the backlash against Burrell, Shirley decided to weigh in on the matter. During a sermon at First Baptist Church of Glenarden in Baltimore, Shirley made comments that surprised many of her fans and followers. Instead of distancing herself from Burrell's remarks or calling for more understanding, Shirley suggested that Burrell should have spoken out earlier. Specifically, Shirley was reported to have said that Burrell should have made her comments years ago, when certain changes were made at the presidential level. While Shirley didn't specify exactly what event she was referring to, many assumed she was alluding to the legalization of same-sex marriage by the Supreme Court in 2015. Shirley's comments seemed to align her with Burrell's stance, which caught many off guard. As a respected figure in the gospel music world, Shirley's words carried significant weight. Her apparent support for Burrell's controversial statements led to discussions about the role of inclusivity in the church and the responsibilities of public figures when addressing sensitive topics. Adding another layer to the controversy, Shirley also offered advice about being cautious with one's words in the age of social media. She reportedly suggested that church leaders should collect cell phones at the door when they want to say something to their congregation. As criticism mounted, Shirley found herself needing to clarify her position. In an interview with Bishop George Bloomer, she attempted to address the controversy head-on. Shirley stated that she was too old to be homophobic and emphasized that she would never intentionally say anything to harm anyone. In her own words, Shirley reportedly said that she knows who she is and would never say anything to harm anybody. She stressed that there's no way she would say something ugly about anyone, as she doesn't have time for that. Shirley explained that she's in the fourth quarter of her life and is doing everything she can to be the best humanitarian and person she can be. Shirley also tried to contextualize her earlier comments about the timing of Burrell's remarks. She reportedly asked why this issue was being brought up now, questioning why someone would disrupt their life over something like that. The icon suggested that what's in the past should be left there, and that everyone, regardless of their community, should move forward with their lives. In an attempt to bridge the divide, Shirley concluded her statement with a call for love and acceptance, regardless of community or affiliation. She reportedly quoted the Bible, saying that by love, all men will know we're his disciples. The singer pointed out that Jesus didn't specify whether this love was for the LGBT community or the NAACP, but simply said to love him. However, Shirley's attempts to clarify her position did not entirely quell the controversy. Some viewed her statements as inconsistent or evasive, while others appreciated her call for love and moving forward. Interestingly, Shirley's involvement in this controversy led to unexpected consequences. Some individuals began to circulate claims about Shirley's own past, suggesting that she may have had relationships with women. These allegations, which remained unsubstantiated, were seen by some as an attempt to highlight perceived hypocrisy in Shirley's stance. The controversy surrounding Shirley's comments also sparked broader conversations about queerness in gospel music. It brought attention to other Christian artists who had come out as LGBTQ, challenging traditional views within the Christian music industry. For example, Trey Pearson, the lead vocalist of the Christian rock band Everyday Sunday, came out as gay in an open letter to fans. The band had been known for their popular contemporary Christian music songs, and Pearson's announcement sent shockwaves through the Christian music community. Similarly, Vicki Beeching, a well-known contemporary Christian music star and worship songwriter, came out as gay in 2014. Beeching's lyrics had been sung by millions of Christians in the United States, where she had lived for nearly a decade, writing and recording worship music. Her coming out at the age of 35 during an interview with a British newspaper was a significant moment in the CCM world. Jennifer Knapp, another popular Christian music artist, had a similar experience. In 2003, Knapp suddenly stepped away from the CCM scene, a surprising decision for a young Dove Award-winning artist and Grammy nominee whose debut album had sold over 500,000 records. 7 years later, Knapp made headlines with a new album and by publicly discussing her sexual orientation. Later and present life. In June 1983, Shirley took a significant step in her personal life when she married Bishop Harold Williams. This union wasn't just a personal commitment, but also a professional one, as the couple became co-pastors of the Mount Calvary Word of Faith Church in Raleigh, North Carolina. Under their leadership, the church grew to have a congregation of about 1,500 members. While Shirley didn't have children of her own, she embraced her role as a stepmother to Bishop Williams' 2 children. Tragedy struck in 2014 when Bishop Williams passed away on July 4th. This loss was undoubtedly a difficult time for Shirley, both personally and in her role as a church leader. However, true to her resilient nature, Shirley continued her work in both music and ministry. The same year brought an unexpected twist to Shirley's musical career. Her song, "Teach Me Master," which was originally released on her 1972 album Get Up My Brother, found new life when it was sampled by Dutch producer Bakermat. The resulting track, simply titled "Teach Me," reached number 22 on the UK singles chart. This crossover into electronic dance music introduced Shirley's powerful vocals to a new generation of listeners and demonstrated the timeless quality of her music. 2016 was a particularly notable year for Shirley. She proved that her musical career was far from over when her CD, "Fill This House," topped the gospel Billboard chart. This achievement showed that even after decades in the industry, Shirley could still produce music that resonated deeply with her audience. Recognition for Shirley's contributions to music and culture continued to pour in. In May 2016, the National Museum of African American Music honored her with the Rhapsody in Rhythm Award in Nashville. This award came in advance of the museum's planned opening in 2018, highlighting Shirley's enduring impact on African American music. June 2016 brought another prestigious honor when the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce awarded Shirley with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. This star serves as a permanent tribute to Shirley's influence on the music industry and her status as a cultural icon. Despite these accolades and her continued activity in music and ministry, Shirley has faced some unusual challenges in recent years. Bizarrely, rumors about her death have circulated on multiple occasions. In one instance, a video falsely claimed that a photo of a hospitalized black woman with a breathing tube was Shirley in her final moments. These unfounded rumors caused confusion and concern among her fans. The speculation about Shirley's health and supposed passing resurfaced as recently as January 2024. Another video appeared online, presenting a chronicle of her life and career under the false premise that she had passed away. In response to these persistent false reports, Shirley took matters into her own hands. She recorded an impromptu video to address the rumors directly. Sitting at a table, Shirley spoke candidly to her fans, expressing both humor and frustration at the situation. She acknowledged the rumor claiming she was dead and buried, jokingly saying that unless she was a living dead person, she knew nothing about it. Shirley went on to address more specific health-related rumors, including claims that she had been hospitalized with throat cancer. With characteristic wit and grace, she emphatically stated that she had never been seriously ill in her life, describing this as a blessing. She thanked her supporters for their prayers and love, and asked for help in spreading the message that she was indeed alive and well to the glory and honor of God. Despite these challenges, Shirley has continued her work in both music and community service. She still holds her annual Outreach Ministries Conference, an event that embodies her commitment to helping those in need. Through this outreach, Shirley provides food, clothing, shelter, and toys for children, as well as financial assistance to those facing hardship. In an entrepreneurial move that aligns with her philanthropic spirit, Shirley opened an eponymous store. True to her giving nature, she uses the profits from this venture to help others, particularly during the holiday season. When asked about her future aspirations, Shirley has expressed an interest in expanding her horizons even further. She's mentioned a desire to do more acting, showing that even after a long and successful career in music and ministry, she's still open to new challenges and experiences.